Well, there is no place like Texas when it comes to great barbecue, and you can be among some of the best this weekend at the 15th annual barbecue cook-off in Robstown.
It's all part of the first weekend for the Nueces County Junior Livestock Show, and we want to go live to Candace Torres, who's at the Richard M. Borchard Fairgrounds with a little preview. Hey, Candace.
Hey, Mike and Rachel, that's right. We are giving you a preview. I've got my apron on with Kim this morning, and we have had the Top Gun grillers, Larry and Steve, cooking up some chicken and ribs today, and we've already got some out. We're going to put the finishing touches on with some seasoning, secret seasoning. Not going to show the label because we don't want to give that stuff away. This is a competition.
That's right. The teams each have their own seasoning. It is not too late for these teams to come out tomorrow from 12 to 6 here at the fairgrounds. $200 registration fee. More teams are welcome. It is IBCA sanctioned, so this is a competitive event. We do give away prizes as well as cash prizes. But also the big thing is you're helping the kids by coming out here and grilling and doing the barbecue cook-off, because this money also goes back to the kids in the form of scholarship as well as purchasing of their animals at the sale next Saturday. We also need judges, and we want the community to come out and volunteer. The chicken will be at 10, the pork spare ribs at 12, and the brisket at 2. Show up 15 to 20 minutes before whichever event you would like to judge here at the fairgrounds. And we even have a little koozie and some gifts to give away to our judges that volunteer as well.
And come Saturday, there's even a kids edition.
That's right. We have a kids cook-off. They grill up a steak, a team of 2, and they even win prizes and are judged as well.
All right, this is all about the community, guys. Of course, it is a kickoff to the Nueces County Junior Livestock Show, but it doesn't just have to be limited to Robstown citizens. All of South Texas is invited to come on out. Even the public can view the teams as they cook and compete, but we are going to put the finishing touches on what I'm calling the award-winning ribs that we got going on here this morning, guys. How does that look?
Looks great.
Yeah.
Looks fantastic.
Good form.
Yeah. Mid-season form, I would say.
I want that for breakfast. Wrap it up in a tortilla, put some hot sauce on it.
Hey, perfect segue here from barbecue to a little something for all of you beer lovers out there, which, as recent numbers suggest, is about 97.2% of those who watch Sunrise. Many of you probably enjoying a beer now.
Not right now.
Okay.
Not with breakfast.
All right, yeah, we're kidding. I mean, we're kidding about that.
have coffee.
What better way to start your Thursday, right? Canadian researchers have determined that a beer bottle found at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean off of Nova Scotia is at least 126 years old. Yeah, that bottle was found off Halifax on Canada's east coast back in November. A scuba diver recovered it from the bottom and it went to a nearby university for study. A researcher and a local brewer tested and tasted the liquid, because really, what could possibly be wrong with 126-year-old beer?
It's not like wine, folks.
Well, they confirmed it tasted okay with hints of everything from cherry to sulfur.
Oh, gosh.
Who doesn't like a little sulfur with their beer?
I don't like sulfur in my beer.
Yeah, okay. Well, markings on the bottle indicate it is from Alexander Keith's. That's a Nova Scotia brewery, and suggests it was manufactured sometime between 1872 and 1890.
You know what? That's quite a ways back.
So as
How
far
could
back
they
as then,
taste
they were having beer. Huh?
Apparently,
yeah.
they were been doing that for a long time. And how this got to the bottom of the Atlantic, I'm not sure, but stayed intact.
Probably the guy who was holding the bottle let it go.
Well, there you go. No word on what happened to him.
But was it a twist top?
Apparently not. They hadn't been invented yet. Well, folks, do you have your Powerball tickets? I have mine. They were totally useless. We'll be talking more about that and the fact that it is soupy out there. We've got 3/4 mile visibility along the airport on Highway 44. Big fog problems this morning. Will they last all day? That's the big question. We'll talk about it in a moment.
KRIS 6 News Sunrise continues.
Welcome back, 6:31 now. The three highest-ranking leaders of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club are in federal custody. They were arrested on a long list of racketeering, drug, and other charges. Two members were taken into custody in San Antonio by FBI and DEA agents, while the club's national president was captured in Conroe. These arrests were the result of a 23-month operation that followed the violence and drug activity that stemmed from a so-called war between the Bandidos and Cossacks.
Well, the mother of the 2-year-old girl who came to be known as Baby Doe has pleaded not guilty to charges in the child's death. Rochelle Bond made her first court appearance on Wednesday. Throughout the arraignment, she was being comforted by her attorney. Now, Bond's boyfriend, Michael McCarthy, is charged with murdering Bella Bond and is set to be arraigned next week. Bella's body washed ashore in Massachusetts in June, setting off a massive effort to identify the child. A professor who claimed that the deadly shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary was a hoax is out of a job. James Tracy, a communications professor at Florida Atlantic University, claimed that the massacre was staged. Tracy was reprimanded in 2013 for writing a blog post that questioned the shootings, along with accounts of several other attacks. 20 students and 6 adults were killed in the Sandy Hook shooting.
A $20 million voluntary buyout for the new Harbor Bridge has many people who live in the Hillcrest area interested but anxious. 6 investigative reporter Jessica Savage tells us who controls most of the property and how a decision to sell or stay could determine the fate of the entire neighborhood.
Public records show a majority of the people who own Hillcrest property don't live there. Instead, many owners are landlords who manage rent homes. Residents we spoke with would like an option to leave, but aren't sure where else they can afford to live. Some renters pay as little as $350 a month. Compare that to the average rent in Corpus Christi, about $1,000 a month. City leaders say we have an affordable housing crisis, yet it's unclear how that reality will affect Hillcrest residents.
What I'm hearing is, some concern, some anxiety. What does this really mean? This is new, and there are a lot of questions still that need to be answered.
Join me at 6 and 10 to find out what one of the largest landlords in Hillcrest has planned for his rental properties. I want to bring you breaking news out of Paris. A man who tried to attack a police station with a knife has just been killed, and police are investigating this incident as an act of terrorism. It's just been reported that this man also had wires extending from his clothing. His body is now being inspected for any type of explosive device. The man also reportedly was shouting in Islam as he was about to enter that police station. Guys, as you can see in this photo, bomb-sniffing dogs are at the scene making sure it's all clear.
All right, Annie, thanks for the details there on that story. Cleanup continues to move along in Missouri for those affected by floods, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Governor Jay Nixon is working to ensure all available resources, both state and federal, go toward helping residents get back on their feet. On Wednesday, he announced plans for Operation Recovery. It's a program designed to speed up the collection of debris and brush left behind by the floods last month. The governor said he knows it's been difficult for everyone involved.
This was a historic flood, and a full recovery will not happen overnight, but we'll be there every step of the way as Missourians rebuild. We said we would when we were here 10 days ago, 8 days ago, 6 days ago, 4 days ago, whatever, and we mean it.
The Missouri National Guard will oversee cleanup with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers collecting and disposing of debris.
Well, the rain isn't over for folks in California. El Nino storms are putting parts of the state underwater. Several roadways are closed in San Diego as heavy rain led to massive flooding there. In fact, some people were trapped in their cars by high water. It's nearly up to the windows, as you can see. Now, the rain and flooding also caused delays and closures of public transportation. Meteorologist Maclovia Perez here now. Mac, you've been telling us about this El Nino and the effect it's going to have.
Yeah, when the waters of the Pacific are, warmer than normal and these storms come through, they're very intense. I remember, I was working out on the West Coast and, the computer models would say one thing and you'd look out the window and going, that's completely different because they just, the numbers in the computer models can't even keep up with the intensity of these storms. For us this morning, as you head out the door, yes, there you are. This is live in Rockport at the Texas Maritime. Thanks to Ron Hoover. It's 60 degrees and it's very foggy. If you're going to be heading out the door this morning, you're looking at quarter-mile visibility. So those of you coming in from the island going over the causeway, do be cautious. You don't want to miss the roadway there. It is really soupy, and it will be soupy until about 9 o'clock when it finally all burns off this morning. Yesterday afternoon, of course, the big thunderstorm that started in Edroy, went through Sinton, went all the way up Highway 77. Even Victoria got very heavy rain, up to 1.5 inches up there. But all that is gone. As you can see, the lifting system that created it is pretty much out of here. But this is all leftover moisture. That's why we have all this ground fog out there dealing with the leftover humidity. No rain expected today. In fact, the fog will burn off, and then by lunchtime you'll see sunshine. It'll be a nice afternoon in the 70s. And then this is our next big storm. It's the one over Southern California, Nevada, Arizona right now. It's going to be crossing over the southwestern mountains and into our area. And of course, the big megastorm continues out in the Pacific. That is something we'll be dealing with later. Here's the moisture that came through yesterday. Now we've got dry air at the mid-levels. As a result, we'll get morning fog and afternoon sun. So it'll be up in the 70s today. And here's that cold, moist air that's going to be rolling toward us over the weekend. So here's what you expect for today. That trough is past. Today, morning fog, afternoon sun. Tomorrow, morning fog, afternoon sun. By the time we get to Saturday, however, that frontal system will start pushing through our area. And by Saturday afternoon, there'll be a cold north wind. And by Sunday, well, you'll be looking for your coat, your jacket, your hats, and your gloves. Temperatures are going back to the 40s in the morning and 50s in the afternoon. So morning fog again tomorrow morning. However, the afternoons will be fairly comfortable for anything you have to get done. Frontal system with a pretty gusty blast of northwest winds on Saturday. Clear on Sunday, but chilly with a high of only 57 and staying in the 50s for most of the early half of next week. That's it from the weather front. Rachel, Mike, back to you.
Hey, thank you, Max. Still to come here on Sunrise, the latest on that standoff in Oregon.
Yeah, what the armed protesters are saying about their extended stay at a wildlife refuge. Stay with us.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. We are interviewing Tom Clausen this go around, executive director of Halo Flight. 1 2. Hey Tom, can we step over here? We're gonna kind of set up our shot real quick. They'll tell us forward or back. What? Hello? Step this way. How's this? What's our hit time? Oh, now it's 6:48. Oh, so 8 minutes. So this is how I do it. So they said stay there. I don't stay here for 8 minutes.
This is Chris 6 News Sunrise.
Welcome back, everyone. 6:41 now on your Thursday morning. An Oregon community is calling on an armed group to leave their town. The protesters have occupied a federal wildlife refuge for 5 days now. They're demanding the release of 2 ranchers convicted of arson on federal land. However, members of a Native American tribe say their ancestors were the first owners of the land, but they too want the protesters gone.
The protesters have no claim to this land.
We're here way before anybody else got here.
Now, law enforcement seem to be taking a wait-and-see approach, hoping to avoid any potential violent situations. And today, President Obama will answer questions on gun violence at a town hall meeting in Virginia. Don't expect to see anybody from the National Rifle Association, though. The NRA has declined to send official representatives to the televised event. The decision came just a day after President Obama announced a renewed push for further gun regulations through executive actions. The Guns in America town hall begins at 7 p.m. on CNN.
Back here at home, the investigation into the fires that destroyed several Morgan Avenue businesses has been put on hold for now. A pair of fires late Sunday night and early Monday morning gutted 4 businesses, including Cafe Maya and a convenience store. What's left of the building is unstable, so investigators haven't been able to get back inside to determine the cause of the blaze. In fact, they've now decided to wait until insurance adjusters bring in heavy equipment to demolish the structure. Now, when that shopping center burned down, it also took a piece of Corpus Christi history.
Yeah, it sure did. The same area where Cafe Maya stood used to be home to a prominent restaurant. Anieli Ruiz shows us more.
Well, I opened it back in 1985. And then we were there 15 years.
Rosalinda Rodela, or like many people here in the community knew her as Rosita, was the owner of Rosita's Mexican restaurant. It was located right here where Cafe Maya was.
Everybody would go to my place all the time, yeah. And even now I hear people saying it's not the same and they still miss the old Rositas.
When she says everybody, she really means everybody. She would have all kinds of people walk through her door. Anyone from President George W. Bush to Roberto Pulido, Yolanda del Rio, and many more.
We had a lot of important people and, the judges, attorneys from the courthouse. We had a lot of people coming in.
But Rositas wasn't only known for her great food.
They would tell me that the food was very good. And the way we treated our customers.
And now that the building has burned down, Rosalinda tells us she was saddened to hear the news.
Boy, I wonder what happened, that for it to burn down. But a lot of things could have happened, to spark the fire. So, yeah, we were a little heartbroken.
And even though the fire may have destroyed the building, it didn't destroy the memories made.
Hope they rebuild again, but I don't know what the owner is going to do, but that was a very good location,
Just before 6:45 here at the Happening Now desk, 4 miners have just been brought to the surface after being trapped 800 feet underground in an elevator in upstate New York. 13 miners still remain underneath the surface. This Twitter photo taken by Ithaca firefighters shows that a crane is still at the scene working to bring more to safety. Right now, the cause of that elevator malfunction is still under investigation. Guys, the 4 that were just rescued have been taken to a hospital for treatment, but their condition is still unknown.
And a look at what's happening now with Annie Sabo. Thanks, Annie. Well, the Federal Aviation Administration announced more than 180,000 drones have been registered in just the last 2 weeks. Drone registration became a requirement back on December 21st. That registration costs $5 on the FAA website, but the money is refundable for the folks who register by January 20th. Now, some consumer organizations estimate more than 400,000 drones were sold this holiday season alone.
Well, we do have a recall to tell you about, this one involving beef patties. Nearly 90,000 pounds of patties are being recalled because they could be contaminated with bits of wood. The recall involves Sam's Choice Black Angus beef patties with 19% Vidalia onion and dates of May 17th, 2016 and June 6th of 2016. If you have these, don't eat the product. Instead, you should throw them out or return them. Now, the patties were shipped to Walmart locations nationwide.
All right, there's a controversy out there. This one centers on the claim that you can be overweight and still be healthy.
And while some say it's fact, others say false. The fat but fit phrase is just a myth, and now there's new data to prove it.
When you're overweight, there is a condition which causes development of insulin resistance that leads to diabetes. That also causes increased risk of high blood pressure, heart attack, sleep apnea, stroke.
Dr. Salim Sarani says there's no doubt that obesity carries negative side effects, which is what the new study of more than 1 million people released by the Washington Post points out.
But most of these studies are suggesting that it is good to be fit and not overweight.
He says the ongoing debate between researchers measures metabolic fitness versus aerobic. The latest data shows that those who were monitored with lower body mass index had lower risk of health issues.
Once you're exercising, it actually increases your metabolism and it changes your body fat from white fat to brown fat. That actually causes increased metabolism and help you to lose weight.
Overall, Sarani says it's best to be active in your daily life regardless of what the scale says. And remember, everything in moderation.
People are doing hand-to-mouth exercise all day long. That doesn't get them far, so they need to get on your feet. So you make a plan that you want to lose 1 pound a month or 2 pounds a month, and then try to go ahead and start doing it.
Well, other recent research has highlighted the idea that it isn't just your weight that impacts your health risks, but where it is on your body, like your midsection or your belly.
Belly? Who's got belly
Belly.
fat? Nobody at this desk.
It's holiday weight.
That's
or
right.
Is it?
I'm still carrying some holiday weight from like 2008, but you know, it's there. Let's talk about Halo Flight. They've been helping South Texans get the care they need for close to 3 decades now.
Yes, the nonprofit service was actually started to provide the fastest and safest emergency transportation, and since 1987, it's taken thousands of critically ill and injured patients to hospitals. And we want to check in live with our Roland Rodriguez, who's at one of the Halo Flight facilities now. Hey, Roland.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Rachel. You know what? Halo Flight has helped more than 17,000 patients since 1987. That's pretty amazing accomplishment. Now joining us early this morning is Tom Clausen, Executive Director of Halo Flight. And for those who don't know, he is also a pilot, aka also known as Lucky. How you doing, Lucky?
Great. I have to remind everybody around here that I'm still a pilot.
Yeah. How many hours have you put together?
I've got a little over 11,000 hours of flight time and about 13 years of emergency medical flying.
Yeah, so you know the ins and out of this operation here at Halo Flight. Let's talk about if, say, God forbid, if one of my lucky one, someone that I love is being taken care of by your crew. How important? I mean, not important, but talk about as far as like those you hire. What are their certifications?
We have the most experienced crews in South Texas. All of our crews are certified in the highest levels of critical care experience. Our pilots all have thousands of flight hours. We send them to the best training and use the latest technologies.
So I assume that safety is a high priority here at Halo Flight.
It's our highest priority above all else, because as we're flying, we're entrusted with somebody's life in trying to save their life, but also in safely transporting them to a higher level of care.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Real quick before we go, Lucky, how did you get that name, Lucky? Your nickname.
I've had a few engine experiences in helicopters before, so it's all good. I'm still here.
We're glad you're here, and you're doing a great job here at Halo Flight. Reporting live from Halo Flight, Roland Rodriguez, Chris 6 News.
Best question of the morning right there.
It certainly is.
How'd you get the name Lucky?
We hope his streak continues. We appreciate what they do for our community.
We do
certainly.
indeed. Why don't we check in with Matt Lauer now to see what's coming up on the Today Show.
Good morning. Coming up on a Thursday here on Today, we've got breaking news. 17 workers trapped in a salt mine in upstate New York. A massive crane now brought in to try to rescue them. We'll have the latest from the scene. Also ahead is Butter Back, what you should take away from some brand new dietary guidelines that are just out this morning. Then Savannah goes one-on-one with Leonardo DiCaprio, why he says his latest role, it's earned him a Golden Globe nomination and Oscar buzz, was the most challenging of his career. Got that and much more ahead, including music from Rachel Platten, when we get started on a Thursday morning here on Today.
Okay.
You're watching Chris 6 News Sunrise.
Welcome back. We are working to learn more about a possible aggravated assault that led to one man getting shot. It happened on the 1300 block of Calle San Carlos shortly before 9 o'clock last night. When officers arrived, they found a 23-year-old man with injuries consistent with gunshot wounds. He was taken to Spahn Memorial Hospital. Officers spoke to several people to find out exactly what happened. At this time, no arrests have been made. A funeral will be held today for the boy who was killed in a traffic accident. Late last month, 10-year-old Hector Zuniga was hit by a car as he and some other boys were trying to cross SPID near Greenwood. Hector's mother says the service will be held at 10 a.m. at Memory Gardens over on Old Brownsville Road.
Well, you may have heard about this, but at noon today, Dish Network may be dropping Chris 6. That means Dish subscribers will no longer get NBC or CW programming through Dish Network. However, you can still watch Sunrise and Chris 6 News at noon by going over to the CBS station. And we are live streaming on ChrisTV.com. Of course, as always, you can get all of our programming for free over the air by just going out and buying an antenna. Now, if you have Dish Network and you want to keep your favorite channels, please call Dish. That number 800-333-DISH and tell them to keep Chris 6. For more information, log on to our website, ChrisTV.com/dish. Well, how about this? We are less than a year from the grand opening of the outlets at Corpus Christi Bay. That's the outlet mall near the county fairgrounds. It's been in the works for nearly 10 years now. And if all goes according to plan, the grand opening date is going to happen November 3rd. Now, we've learned that 3 stores at least will be located there. Those are Express, Guess, and Skechers. More store announcements will come at random until the grand opening. There's room for about 67 stores in the outlet mall. The developer says that you should start to see the buildings take shape by July.
Just before 7 here at the Happening Now desk, CCPD is searching for a man who robbed a Stripes store near Mohawk and Baldwin. This man is described to be a young black male between the ages of 17 to 20, and he was wearing a white hoodie. CCPD told us this male approached the Stripes clerk asking for cigarettes, and when this clerk turned around, the man pulled out a knife and then was able to take money from the cash register. Guys, the clerk was unharmed and no one else was injured, but this man was able to escape by car.
All right, Annie, thanks for the very latest there from the Happening Now desk. Well, the circus is coming to the Coastal Bend.
Sure is. We're talking about the Alameen Shrine Circus. It's happening this weekend at the American Bank Center, and we love doing giveaways here on Sunrise, so here's your chance. We're going to give you 4 tickets to the circus for this Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning. All you got to do is email the word circus and your name and phone number. Here's the email address, contest@christv.com. If you do that by noon today, then 3 random entries are going to be drawn, and, well, those will be the winners. If you don't win today, don't fret. We're going to be giving away more tickets tomorrow right here on Sunrise.